Howdy, folks. Our last punctuation mark to learn is dashes. We're going to learn how to punctuate and use these really weird and amorphous punctuation marks called the dash. All right, so make sure you're taking notes because these ones are strange, mostly because they can do anything, but what you need to know is they do it with emphasis. I think of these with the Kanye West of punctuation marks because he's gonna be unruly. He's gonna demand attention everywhere he goes. He's gonna kind of do whatever he wants. Is he a rapper? Is he a producer? Is he a clothing designer? Is he an Instagram model? I have no idea. I really don't know what Kanye West does anymore. But let me tell you, he's gonna do it with some pizzazz and style, and he's gonna be front and center whatever it is he's doing. Okay, so dashes really can do anything. They take the place of a lot of other punctuation marks. They can act like a comma or a semicolon. And just remember, whatever you're using that dash to kind of separate off, you're going to emphasize that next part. I ran to the bus, but it had already left, right? I would read that phrase almost like I'm putting that emphasis on that second part. Even though this should be a comma, a dash could work. And I want you to notice the punctuation in the dash. There's no space before or after it. Like I said, it's a strange mark. It can be used to separate non-essential phrases. So again, looking like a comma. He took the spoon, which had fallen on the cafeteria floor, and proceeded to eat with it, right? I really wanted my readers to understand, like, oh my God, that thing touched that dirty, dirty, dirty ground. And then he ate with that spoon. Gross. This is probably the most common punctuation mark we actually use in our everyday speech because it usually means we're interrupting ourselves. So I started a sentence, but then I got distracted by this other little idea, and then I came back to my original sentence, right? That would be a dash-like scenario. It can be a colon with linking power, where we're clarifying something. So I've only ever wanted to be one thing to be taller, right? And I really want to emphasize that to be taller. I would use a colon there normally, but if I want to emphasize it, use a dash. Or this also can represent literal interruptions in speech. So Taylor started, I can't stand ink, when she was cut off by the teacher standing behind her, right? The dash here, slightly longer dash, is actually signifying the interruption. Like I didn't even get to finish that word or thought before the language was cut off. So you might have noticed at this point that we've talked about non-essential clauses, and there's actually 3 different punctuation marks that you can use to separate non-essential clauses from your sentence. Like we just learned about dashes. So the second baseman jumped, or rather exploded, towards the ball. If I want to emphasize that he didn't just jump, he jumped out of his shoes towards that ball. He was moving. I might use that dash. And just notice that when I start with the punctuation mark, whatever I start with, I'm going to end with. I'm never going to mix commas and dashes, or our last one, parentheses. So I've got dash, dash, and I've even got comma, comma inside of there because I'm fancy and an English teacher. Commas are kind of the most neutral, the most formal. You're going to see these most times in writings. The bug, which was on my arm, crawled quietly away. I'm not really drawing attention to this phrase, and it's non-essential, but I'm still going to put it in, but I'm going to separate it off with commas, letting you know I'm not really, emphasizing this or de-emphasizing it. It's information that I want you to know, but you don't need to know it. And then the last one, which actually we haven't talked about, is parentheses. These are kind of like, I call them a little bit weaker because they really are auxiliary information that you don't need to know. But they're stuff that the author wants to include. Like, I really wanted you to know this. It's kind of like an aside or just a clarification of dates, or maybe someone's job title or a description quick of something if you're not sure what it is. So I think of these as like really kind of weak and subtle. The things that are within in parentheses you can really take out and you don't lose any meaning. So the cookie, chocolate chip, was delicious. Now notice how I'm kind of contradicting myself, where I could have used dashes here because I put that little exclamation point in, but I really wanted you to know that you didn't need to, I didn't want to emphasize this. I just wanted you to know that I was excited about it. So I put the exclamation point there, but I still put it in parentheses so you knew what kind of cookie it was. All right. That's it for this one. Good luck, folks. and have fun with dashes.